Hey y'all, welcome. I'm trying to see what kind of lighting I'm wanting here. Got my ring light on. You see, I got a little makeup going on, a little something going on here. And let's do blue. Let's see blue. All right, so my name is Tamika Collins, and this here is my YouTube channel. And here we are reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. We are in Judges, the 21st chapter. And if I would have paid attention, I would have read it the last time because that's all that we had left on this chapter. So, recap. Let's recap. So we read something else of two stories. Two chapters. Chapter 19 talked about the Levite and his concubine, remember? Whom he pushed his concubine out to the men of the town of Gibeah because they came to get them. And the man of the house was like, "No, you can't have them. They're my guests, but take my virgin daughter and take his concubine and do whatever you want to with them." And that's what they did. They took them and did whatever they wanted to. And I put that it shows the control of women at the times back then. They were deemed as property. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and he doesn't care who it is. Concubines had most of the duties as a wife, but her and her offspring did not inherit the rights as legal wife and the legal children did. This Levite that was selfish, he was selfish and let the men of the town do whatever they wanted to the concubine after the father of the concubine had gave him shelter, gave him food, made sure he was all good and everything, and asked him to not go anywhere. But he said, "No, we gotta leave," and he went anyway. And even when the Levite servant was like, "Hey, let's go," let's stop and rest or whatever. He was like, "No, we got to go, keep going." And so if he would have stopped and rest, he wouldn't have had to go through it. If he would have stayed with the father-in-law, he wouldn't have had to do that. But anyway, in his arrogance, he went on and not asking God what he should do, because he's the Levite. He's supposed to do that. Anyway, not only does he disregard his concubine's value of any source, but he took her lifeless body, put it over his donkey, got home to Ephraim, and he took his knife and cut her up into 12 pieces and sent a piece to each tribe throughout the territory of Israel. Disturbing, I put disturbing, yes, this was. Instead of the whole truth, him telling the whole truth by the Levite, war was done and lots were killed. Says that the tribe of Benjamin eventually recovered from this slaughter, and it named that Saul, who was Israel's first king, was from this tribe. 1 Samuel 9:21. Queen Esther was from this tribe. Esther 2:5-7. And the Apostle Paul from Romans 11:1. And now we are in the last chapter, chapter 21. Let's read. Yeah, I gotta do something about my storage of my phone. It be acting all crazy. Chapter 21. Israel provides wives for Benjamin. The Israelites have vowed to Mizpah, "We will never give our daughters in marriage to men from the tribe of Benjamin." Now the people went to Bethel and sat in the presence of God until evening, weeping loudly and bitterly. "O God, Lord of Israel," they cried out, "why has this happened to Israel? Now one of our tribes is missing from Israel." Early the next morning, the people built an altar and presented their burnt offerings and peace offerings on it. Then they said, "Who among the tribes of Israel did not join us at Mizpah when we held our assembly in the presence of the Lord?" At that time, they had taken a solemn oath in the Lord's presence. found that anyone who refused to come would be put to death. The Israelites felt sorry for their brother Benjamin and said, "Today, one of the tribes of Israel has been cut off. How can we find wives for the few who remain, since we have sworn by the Lord not to give our daughters in marriage?" So they asked, "Who among the tribes of Israel did not join us at Mizpah when we assembled in the presence of the Lord?" And they discovered that no one from Jabesh Gilead had attended the assembly, for after they counted all the people, no one from Jabesh Gilead was present. So the assembly sent 12,000 of their best warriors to Jabesh Gilead with orders to kill everyone there, including women and children. This is what we are to do. This is what you are to do, they said. Completely destroy all the males and every woman who is not a virgin. Among the residents of Jabesh Gilead, they found 400 young virgins who had never slept with a man, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh in the land of Canaan. The Israelite assembly sent a peace delegation to the remaining people of Benjamin who were living at the rock of Rimmon. Then the men of Benjamin returned to their homes, and the 400 women of Jabesh Gilead who had been spared had given to them as wives, but there were not enough women for all of them. The people yet felt sorry for Benjamin because the Lord had made this gap between among the tribes of Israel. So the elders of the assembly asked, "How can we find wives for the few who remain? Since the women of the tribe of Benjamin are dead, there must be heirs for survivors, so that an entire tribe of Israel is not wiped out. But we cannot give them our own daughters in marriage because we have sworn with solemn oath that anyone who does this will fall under God's curse." Then they thought of the annual festival of the Lord held in Shiloh, south of Lebanon and north of Bethel, along the east side of the road that goes on from Bethel to Shechem. They told the men of Benjamin who still needed wives, "Go and hide in the vineyards. When you see the young women of Shiloh come out for their dances, rush out from the vineyards, and each of you take one of them home to the land of Benjamin to be your wife." And when the fathers and brothers come to us in protest, we will tell them, "Please be sympathetic. Let them have your daughters, for we didn't find wives for all of them when we destroyed Jabesh Gilead. And you are not guilty of breaking the vow, since you did not actually give your daughters to them in marriage." So the men of Benjamin did as they were told. Each man caught one of the women as they danced in the celebration and carried them off to be his wife. They returned to their own land, and they rebuilt their towns and lived in them. Then the people of Israel departed by tribes and families, and they returned to their homes. In those days, Israel had no king. All the people did whatever seemed right in their own eyes. And there you have it. There is Judges, the 21st chapter, the last chapter of Judges. I'm just looking at my makeup. It looks much better in my photos. But it's cute though. Of course, I'll be doing some more later. Something different. Probably later on tonight. I'll probably do something else. Who knows? Might look like a little peacock later. Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Tamika Collins, and this here's my YouTube channel. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good night, and a good midnight hour. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Not nothing. Not nary peace. And I'll see you next time.